Guys, we're going live. Okay, you just know, girl, God to make you something for that. Thank you, baby. Off. Da, 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 da. It's 11:35, and you are tuned into Heart Connections with your heart coach, Adelai Brown, on your community station with international inspiration, KineticHiFi.com. How y'all doing today? It is Testimony Tuesday, and we're talking about faith. And today's going to be we're having some, the truth of the matter is, I want us living our best lives. And the only way to do that is we're going to have to walk by faith. But the truth of the matter is there are a lot of distractions. So this hour, we're going to talk a little bit about the distractions from us living by faith and walking by faith. I'm excited because this afternoon's Diamond in the Rough. Make sure you stick around right about 11:15 around there. We're going to be doing a Diamond in the Rough today that is, I mean, it impacted me in a big way, and I hope that it's a blessing to you as well. And so right now, we're just going to talk about distractions from living by faith and living our best lives and being able to be a blessing. This segment is brought to you by the new book, Help Save Me from My Broken Heart, Your Journey to Living and Loving Again. You can pre-order your copy at theheartconnections.com. And turn my finger off, excuse me, for you guys not be hearing my phone go off in the background. But oh my gosh, y'all. Can we lose it? I'm so excited right now. Oh my gosh. Woo! Thank you, Jesus. Yes, if you're watching on YouTube, you're like, what is going on? That was a positive distraction. I just got that last piece I told y'all about I was waiting on to hit publish on the book. Just got notification that hot off the press, just got notification that I have it. I will be hitting publish tomorrow on my mother's birthday to help save me from my broken heart, your journey to living and loving again. And you guys got it first right here on KineticHiFi.com. I'm so excited right now. Oh my gosh, y'all don't even understand. Oh gosh. You know what? Listen, I just have to just really go with my heart right now. And I told God some things, and I really said some things. And I remember last August, some friends of mine, we all were hanging out, and I just really, really, really this whole journey of this book it's been a personal journey. But see, at first I thought it was about writing a book, but it really wasn't about writing a book. It was more so about healing for me. And when we talk about distractions, I feel like God told me to take a break last June, like literally like a year to the day, like about June 1st of last year. So I had a couples conference last May 20th of 2017. And then a week later, we had the Let's Talk, the Village Community Summit. And it was like the biggest community summit we've had. It was really good. We had Kalante Gavin. He was our featured artist, and we had other artists, but just kind of, giving you a feel of it was really good. And right after that, God was like, take a break. Don't do anything. And when we talk about distractions, that was tough for me because at this point I was going for the gusto one more time because I had swung my sling at Goliath, but it didn't knock him down the first time. So last May, because I've been really doing this since 2015. So it's like every year I've gone with the gusto. Every year, okay, God, I'm coming hard this time. We're gonna knock this wall down. Like those of you who may have read, what is it in Joshua when they walked around Jericho? You had to go around 6 times, and then that 7th time they yelled and the wall came down. So I was like trying to get this wall down. And then God just told me, it's time for you, just take a break. And I saw how much pride was in control of my life. I saw how much my own independence and what I could do for myself was in, such control of my life because I'm hearing God and I'm knowing this is what he's telling me to do, but I don't want to do it. I want to keep working hard. I want to work to be good. I don't want to just receive that goodness. I want to work. It's kind of like we were talking about the prodigal son the lost son in Luke chapter 15. It's like he left and he did the wrong thing. But when he came back, he said, I'm going to come back and work for my father because I don't deserve to be his son anymore. So I'm going to work for him. And so I feel like this whole journey of resting, because I really didn't do much resting because I was fighting against the idea that why would God want me to rest? Like, what have I done so much that he wants me to rest? Like, I'm not good enough to rest. My bills aren't paid up enough for me to rest. Like, it looked irresponsible. That's why that video, you have to stick around for the diamond in the rough. That's why that really touched me the way it did, because I've been feeling like I'm being very irresponsible. And maybe it's just my internal feelings, but I know some of the responses I get from people, well, why can't you just do this? And why can't you do that to make life a little easier? And I get it. And I feel that way sometimes, but I know deep down inside, that's not what God wants me to do. And it's tough because it looks like a fool. It looks like you're crazy. Well, if your life is so hard, why don't you just go and do this? Wouldn't that just make it easier? But when you are walking by faith and following God, the easiest path isn't always the right path. And that's what we have to understand, the distractions. Sometimes the distractions look very good and they look very practical and they look very realistic. But then sometimes God will tell you to do things like, don't do anything practical. Don't do anything realistic. Go and start something and you don't have the necessary resources. Go and talk to somebody when you have trouble speaking. Go and build something when your hands may not be working at this time. But we have to understand that our current situations and circumstances are often distractions from us getting to where our future is designed for us to be and what's waiting on us. It's kind of like you're running this race and you know there's a finish line. And I think many of us miss that. Every race has a finish line, and many of us quit. We just quit before we get to the end because it gets too hard. It gets too tough. Those obstacles are distractions. Those mountains in your life right now are distractions. Though that negative text you got this morning is a distraction. That cutoff notice that you opened in the mail for today, that's a distraction for what God wants to do in your life. And you have to get that. And when I think about last year when God told me to write this book and just all that, just all that came about, the days that I struggle. I was having a conversation yesterday about how to be still and allow God to move. And we'll talk about that more in the next hour, how to be still and just allow faith to really work. Like, how do we do that? Like, practically. Because I know a lot of people, you hear me saying this, you're like, I get that, but how? I need some steps. And we'll talk about the practicality, but like I'm just saying, it's hard to get still, especially when it's a lot going on around you. Those distractions are there for a reason. It's hard to continuously step out on faith when it seems like every step you've taken, you fall, you've bumped, you've bruised, you've messed up, you've failed. It's hard, but it's necessary. That email I just got just now just did something to me. It's like literally this thing went from a conversation to an outline to now a book that's going to help people all over the world. And it's not because I'm so great. It's because God is so great. And he thought enough of me, this mess up, this failure. He thought enough of me to produce something like that. And that's going back to our quote of the day. When you focus on being a blessing, God makes sure that you are always blessed in abundance. See, those distractions come to shift your focus from being a blessing. Those distractions come for you to focus on the negatives in your life, for you to focus on all of the insufficiencies and the insecurities and all of the voids and all of the doubts and all of the fears and all of the shame and all of the pain and all of the hurt and all of the jealousy, all to distract you from getting an email that says, hey, let's move forward. You can hit approve. Let's get this thing published. And I know when people read it, it's going to bless them. I know it is. Just from the responses I've got from those who've read it. But guess what? It's not even about that. It's about the fact that God wouldn't tell me to write it. God wouldn't have shut my whole life down where the only thing I was focused on was writing a book. I remember waking up trying to think of ways I could make money doing this and make money doing that. And I remember Kevin would say to me, did you write today? Oh, I used to be so mad at him. Did you write today? What you did with your book today? What did you do with the book today? Some days I didn't want to even get up and take a shower. I'm just frustrated. Like, why did God have me do this? Like, why I have to be struggling like this? Like, why I have to be going through this? But like, I would feel that way when I get in my weak points, but let 9:15 come when it's time for heart talk. Let it's time to speak to somebody or somebody calls. It's like that stuff goes out the window. Blessed to be a blessing. That's where the focus should always be. Anytime you're not aware of how much and how much you have to offer and how much you can give, that's a time where your focus has shifted away. You're distracted and you have to recalibrate. You have to refocus. You know, those photographers have those big expensive lenses and you see them turning things around because they're refocusing. They're getting the frame exactly how they need it to be because that's the vision, the image that they want. And that's what we have to do. We have to take the time to be willing to shift that lens from those distractions back to being a blessing, back to the focus that God has for us, because that's really what he wants. That's what he desires. That's what we were created to do. And let's not ever miss that. Let's not ever miss that that's what we were created to do. Let's not ever miss that this is where God has us. And let's not ever miss the fact that we've been distracted because a lot of times those distractions are just a reminder of some of the vicious cycles that we've been caught in. And it's time for us to break them. When you understand how much of a blessing you are, I'm letting you know now. You're like, yeah, she's talking about a blessing. Let me tell you something. You're a blessing to me. Just you being here. You give me that push and that desire to keep talking and keep sharing and keep doing heart talk. You're worthy. And so am I. And that's why we're here together. And I love y'all. And I thank you. Think about it. This has been Heart Talk with your heart coach, Adelai Brown, on your community station with international inspiration. This is your last day to pre-order your copy. Go to theheartconnections.com. In the meantime, let's let Jonathan McReynolds talk to us a little bit about these cycles. This is going out to you, Nigel, right here, Kinetic High Five. Okay, let me show you what happened on here just now.